Hey, welcome back to the shop. I'm Jason, and today we are continuing on with Project Cheapskate. That's my $500 X5, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to make it right, well, on a budget. In the last episode, we got it driving by getting the transmission all situated, and in episode 1, we got it started by popping in a fuel pump. Along the way, I'm trying to do this on a budget. So the fuel pump, that was an $83 Amazon purchase. The gasket set and pan and everything, that was actually kind of pricey from FCP Euro because I wanted to make sure that it shifted. And today we're covering the oil filter housing gaskets, which are pretty inexpensive all by themselves. But if you recall from episode 1, I changed the oil filter because the oil in this is disgusting. And I was running seafoam in the engine the last 175 miles to try to get it to break up. Well, you recall the Vanos portion of our filter cap was broken and I just shoved it back in there.
And she just shoves them in there and it's just compressed.
Made it work for now. Well, I ordered this bad boy off of Amazon and it was cheap. So we're gonna see how that runs. We're running some full synthetic Costco oil and a BMW filter. Keep things simple. Let's start by getting the oil draining down into the bottom. And you do that by opening up our filter cap. Now I've had this motor running for a little while, so everything is smoking hot right now. And part of this repair, we're also going to be tackling a bit of a coolant exchange. Under normal circumstances, you'd want to do this around 100,000 miles or so. Now, being a BMW, it's probably had a number of cooling repairs already, which does somewhat cover the coolant exchange process. But in this case, I have no idea. I haven't actually checked the coolant as far as quality. It looks blue, smells like coolant. So we're gonna pop the cap open. It's under pressure right now. So I'm actually gonna wait, so I feel how hard that thing is to open. The camera guy is getting a little creative with the camera over here. Let's get this thing up in the air and get it draining. So unfortunately, we had already turned the camera off when I started pulling the cap out, but this is what I was talking about here. This piece is supposed to be part of the cap and attached, and it just popped right out. What happened when it popped right out is the drain back didn't happen down inside the filter housing, so I lifted this cap off and oil went everywhere. When you pull your oil filter cap housing and the center stack out, it allows the oil in the filter to drain back down and in through this central drain port here. If it doesn't drain in, you're gonna wind up getting oil everywhere, which is what I just did. So bear that in mind. Make sure you have a good cap or you're gonna make a mess. We're gonna start by getting our splash panel back down. Make sure while you're underneath that you're using appropriately sized super squints. You know, if it's really dusty, squint harder. Show you right here why this is an important job to take care of on all of your N-generation engines. When you look up in here, you can see our belts, both the AC and our alternator power steering drive belt, they can get oil soaked. And if these belts go, your N-series engines can eat those belts, thus killing your motor. So doing this as soon as you can is pretty important. Draining the oil, probably not something new. For this, I will use actual safety glasses because this oil is hot. And if you haven't had hot oil in the face, it's definitely not. A little extra tight. So we've got our oil drained. Next we got to get our coolant drained. This generation doesn't have a radiator drain. So what we're going to wind up doing is we're going to pop a hose off of the, I believe it's the tranny cooler right here. It could be an oil. No, it's tranny cooler. So that's going to be right up here on this lower cross member. And that's going to be this line here. We're going to pull the little clip. Coolant's going to drain out all over the place. But we're going to get the coolant drained enough that we'll be able to, one, exchange a bunch of it, and two, we won't have coolant and oil mixing up top. Throw a couple buckets out.
I
You will stand back.
Just zoom in, don't worry.
And gently walk your connector off. Yep, just like that. Make sure that you're wearing protective Crocs so that your service goes well. There we go. There it is.
Those pockets are definitely working.
Sort of. We've got our coolant and our oil drain, so we're gonna start up top. And I'm gonna take the transverse brace off here, mainly because it'll make it a little bit easier for you to see access-wise what's going on. And it'll give me a little bit more room for my hands to play in there. I'm actually gonna pop a little bit of lube on these clips because I've had this brace off a few times now, and I really don't want them to break the next time I go to take them off. And up front here, you've got 1, 2, I think there's just the 3. There's one on the bottom, these E12 bolts. It is hot as Hades still, but it should be drained. All right, after we get our cameras all situated, we have our 3 E12s here on the front. I'll break these all free. There's the 2 at the top that you can see pretty easily. And then if you look down the hose right in the middle, there's one as well, about right here. This would be one of those times where having like an electric ratchet, that would come in handy. Milwaukee, if you would like to send me an electric ratchet, I already have a couple M12 batteries. That'd be super cool. I'll totally review it. It's awesome. I've already got the review. All right, there goes all the oil off the front. Whoops. That's what brake clean is for anyhow. So, whoop, there goes the camera. There's definitely a fair bit of oil in there. Gonna run down the front of your motor.
I think the pan's under there still.
That's the coolant pan that's under there.
Oh,
Yeah.
so oil and coolant.
Don't do that. So we're gonna clean this off a little bit. Then we're gonna pull our radiator hose off. Oh dear, don't lose your spring. Don't get too violent with it. That's problematic if you do. Okay, and then we're gonna pry gently to try to not crack the plastic, and also see if we can find something to pry on, or just slowly work it back and forth until it breaks free. Technically, you could leave this hose on here. In hindsight, that might have been the better idea as I'm looking at it, but we're already this far. What's the worst that could happen? Another coolant leak on a BMW? Pretty tight, and it looks like it actually came apart. Oh, jeepers. Yep. So here's the O-ring, and here is the inside of my hose. It's a 2-piece hose now. Damn.
Does that mean you need a new hose?
Yeah, it means I should probably order a hose.
Are they expensive?
No, it shouldn't be expensive. It's more a matter of the time it will take to get the hose here at this point. So you're going to need 2 different tools in order to get the housing off without taking the manifold off. One would be like a flexible E10, like this guy. With this one, it's a lot like the BMW special tool that reaches back there to get that bolt. And the other would be an E10 wrench for breaking the bottom bolt free, because this hose here can get in the way. Now in this case, for sure, I can't get a ratchet and socket on there. Some of them you may be able to, but I'm pretty sure you can't. So we're gonna start with our back bolt, since it's the hardest to get to. And we're gonna snake around the housing and the manifold. We're gonna preset our socket. Mr. Camera Guy, if you wanna come over to this side, you should be able to see down and in there. You see where I'm trying to get to there? Right there?
Yep.
Okay, so we're on the bolt. And now we can slowly walk that guy free, but it looks like it just jammed up a little bit right there. I might need a second wobble on here or a wobble extension. I'm gonna try a wobble extension because there's not a lot of room back there. Hopefully with this guy, it'll allow us a little bit more space. I don't really want to pull the manifold right now. There we go. That little bit of extra wobble did the trick. Okay, now I'll break the top bolt free. That one wasn't very tight. And I already broke this bottom one free while the camera guy was getting another battery. Oh yeah. Now I'm jammed up against the hose there. Take our top bolt out. Okay. Don't lose that one. Now we can pull the housing back like that. Our sensor onto the workbench. After a brief intermission to take care of some other issues on the car, my seals came in, my upper radiator hose came in, so we can get going back together. So we got to get our gaskets in. These are one way. You can tell that I cleaned this guy up pretty good. You want to clean around in the gasket channel on both sides here. Check your check valve, make sure that it operates freely, and then get these guys tapped down in there, and we'll get our bolts ready to go. Now, one thing I was just noticing as I was looking for my tools are the heat exchanger bolts are an E12, and the housing bolts are an E10. And what's interesting is they're labeled as M8s for both of them with different torques, but I can see this looks more like an M7 to me. I don't know. Could be wrong. Yeah, I think I'm wrong. I think they're both M8s. What's unique is they have different torques. For the oil filter housing to cylinder head, it's 22 Newton meters, and for the heat exchanger, it's 16. So we'll do that. Now, one of the things that has happened since I started this job was I pulled the intake manifold, replaced the diesel valves, and I cleaned up a bunch in here since there was quite a bit of oil everywhere. But what that means for us now is I actually have the intake manifold still loose, so that's going to make it a bit easier to get this guy together. I would still recommend starting with our lower bolt, coming through and getting that into the housing. It's going to be the hardest to get together in the first place, and we have to thread that in order to get our ratchet on it and get this cooking, because we can't get past still our hose there. One of these gear wrench ratcheting drives, woo-wee, that sure is a game changer for these little fiddly things. I'm not entirely sure how much of a difference it makes, but I would try to tighten these all down fairly evenly. You can see here what a difference having the manifold loose makes. Even still, I'm going to use my little flexi ratchet head here. Now our new radiator hose, since our old one decided to come apart in multiple pieces. Amazon parts. Get what you pay for sometimes, I suppose. With our filter housing all reinstalled and our cooler reinstalled, we're going to top off the oil, or better yet, fill the oil because we drained it. And then we're going to fill up our coolant as well and bleed the system. This does have the electric water pump on it, so we have to go through the bleed procedure, which honestly makes it so much easier to bleed this cooling system. The older cooling systems with the vent up top, those were a real pain. And for our filter top, we have our new Amazon filter housing that, let's see, get that guy squeezed down in there. and it doesn't pop out, just like it shouldn't. That's how you want it. To get our water pump started, you're going to turn the key on. You're going to turn the heat to high, blower to low, hold the gas pedal for 10 seconds, and you should hear that thing kick on, and it'll start making some noise, hopefully better noise than mine is making. I can hear the bubbles percolating up through here, which is exactly what we wanted. So in about 12 minutes, this should be about done, give or take, and we'll clear the faults and then we can start it. Also, make sure you have a battery charger hooked up to the car. While the coolant was bleeding, I went ahead and got the rest of the engine all reinstalled. I just read and cleared faults. I didn't actually read faults, I just cleared faults because we set a whole bunch of faults turning the key on back and forth. But now, we can get it started and see if we have any leaks, see if we have any clunks, jitters, or anything like that. There's always the fingers crossed moment of truth. Let's see, I find the brake pedal, and here we go. Well, it started. Running a little wacky. Well, we've got our oil leak fixed, at least the one here up top. We still have to deal with the oil pan, but there are still a couple other things I'm gonna have to deal with on this car. So if you would help me out by hitting that like button, subscribe button if you wanna see more on this project. I'm working on picking up another
Broken BMW?
No. Don't! No. Don't!
Bad idea.
We'll see if it comes together. It should happen in the next few days. So I could have something else here to play with in the shop. Hopefully I can get one of them not broken. That would be fantastic. Either way, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.